lots of protocols has been hacked from their off-chain side. Almost $18 billion has been lost into Web3. With the DATS project approach, we can cover all of the Web2 and Web3 vulnerabilities via one platform, which is very efficient and convenient. There is two kinds of vulnerability exists. One of them about Web3 side is a smart contract vulnerability, right? And also in the Web2 side, lots of companies suffered from botnets. So a hacker launches attack from thousands of different unaware people's computer into the one direction. It's actually also like a DePIN. Cybersecurity is 360-degree world. If you miss just one angle, hacker can manipulate your infrastructure and can take over all of your data, all of your on-chain, off-chain infrastructure as well.
Welcome to We Are DePIN, a podcast dedicated to the world of DePIN projects. Every episode, we invite amazing DePIN projects to explain how they're revolutionising and shaping the future of DePIN and Web3. Our goal is to keep you informed about everything happening in the DePIN space. This podcast is brought to you by Minima, the real-world blockchain. Minima is a device-agnostic and fully decentralized Layer 1 blockchain. It has a lightweight architecture that enables a full node to run on any mobile or IoT device, making it exceptionally adaptable for scaling decentralized physical infrastructure networks. Minima's technology is now supported by an expansive and engaged community of over 50,000 node operators. Join us for the next insightful discussion. Anil, hi, how are you?
Hello, Sina. Good. How about you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. How's your day been? How's everything to do with DATS?
To be honest, great, because we are also in DePIN summer, right? So we are so excited to be in this specifically in this field. And also, we are the only one who builds a cybersecurity product via DePIN infrastructure. So business is good. We are expecting to bull run, and we will be also live as soon as possible.
Sounds very interesting. And I'd love to learn more about what DATS is before we go on, because it's cybersecurity we haven't covered on the podcast yet. So it'd be great to hear about what DATS is, how you guys came up with the idea, and then we can talk about cybersecurity in a bit more detail.
So me, and specifically our CEO and founder Serkan, has a very deeply technical cybersecurity background over than 20 years. And also we have been an advisor, consultant, and also entrepreneur regarding to Web2 based cybersecurity fields. After that, we have decided to making this attack scenarios, cybersecurity tests, as a decentralized way, because hackers are using botnets. So about 3 years ago, when even the PIN name doesn't exist, we have started to build this infrastructure. That basically does that. We have developed a desktop application which anyone can simply download via our website and dedicate their unused computing power resources, such as internet bandwidth, CPU, RAM. We are focusing currently these three resources. With that resources, we correlate and utilize all these resources from our participants all around the world to launch much more decentralized and efficient attacks to our customers. Because current cybersecurity providers only uses their own infrastructures, which can be very costly if they would like to make it much more decentralized way. So their attack scenarios or tests not so efficient. With that project, with our community, with DePIN participants, we can provide much more cost efficient, also via blockchain infrastructure, also transparent and cost effective for our clients. So, meanwhile, we are also incentivizing all our participants with 60% of our revenue. It's a totally win-win scenario for everyone. Also, meanwhile, we are using unused computing power resources, so it's nearly zero emission. We are also environment friendly via this infrastructure. So that's the DePIN actually approach, right? So we are combining all of these benefits under one roof.
Talk to me a little bit about your background within cybersecurity and how the idea came about initially.
Yeah, for sure. When I was at college, I have graduated from electric and electronics engineering from Istanbul University. In the second year, I have decided to not go with electric and electronical side. So I seek for some different fields. How can I put my experience and my dedication into the future? So I have discovered the cybersecurity. To be honest, in our fields, people are meeting with cybersecurity at their much more younger ages. It's a little bit late for me, but I loved it. And even at my second year at university, I directly started to work at Turkey's second biggest airline as a cybersecurity specialist. After that, I stepped into consultancy side when I graduated. I have started my journey at EY as a senior cybersecurity consultant. And after a year later, also all our teams switched into KPMG, so I also followed them. But after that, with my technical approach, it doesn't fit in the current circumstances. So I have decided to switch my job again into Web3 fields. Meanwhile, we also started to build this infrastructure as a DATS. So it's been more than 3 years almost to we launched this infrastructure. So currently I am here with all my dedication and cybersecurity knowledge. With about the consultancy side, while I audited or give it my advisory to over than 100 different big clients, I gathered lots of know-how about the Web2 gaps about the cybersecurity. Also, Web3, it was a little bit curiosity for me. I also started to discover what's the gaps into Web3 fields, and we figured out almost $18 billion has been lost into Web3. So it's also a huge loss. So with the DAS project approach, we can cover all of the Web2 and Web3 vulnerabilities via one platform, which is very efficient and convenient for all the desperate needs. So we are still currently building it. MVP is also prepared, so we have started to present some POCs to our potential clients and partners as well. Maybe you already know about because you are also from fintech side, right? Because we discussed that before. Also, banking sector is a much more secure sector. Rest all of them, right? And also, a couple banks from Europe accepted that for their security vendor. So, which is a very bright thing for us also. So Web2 firms also started to know us. And meanwhile, we also growed into Web3 side as well, because currently we across more than 500,000 participants from 193 countries. So we are very good points.
Cybersecurity is one of these industries that it's the need for it is always increasing, and there is, it's a multi-billion, if not trillion-dollar industry. It's huge. And what I'm curious about, where you guys come in, is you're hitting across Web2 companies, and those Web2 companies spend billions of dollars a year on cybersecurity, and then the Web3 companies where it's a bit more sort of early stage, but there are a lot of hacks happening. There's a lot of people getting, and that's why these DeFi insurance platforms have been springing up as well, to sort of protect those individuals. But if you can sort of help them at source with a cybersecurity platform, then that helps. So what I'm curious about is, yeah, it's a huge industry. Everyone knows it, and everyone knows the importance of it. How does DePIN come into this, and like how is traditional sort of cybersecurity lacking in the way that a DePIN solution can help in some way? So yeah, like what are the problems that exist right now in the current sort of cybersecurity world?
All right. So I will approach these questions from two different points, because the first one is why DePIN is important for cybersecurity, right? So as I explained, actually in the current stage, there is two kind of vulnerability exists, happens usually. One of them about Web3 side is a smart contract vulnerability, right? And also in the Web2 side, lots of companies suffered from botnets, because botnets are also like act like a DePIN. Yeah, individuals has been hacked, but they are not aware of it. So a hacker launches attack from thousands of different unaware people's computer into the one direction. It's actually also like a DePIN, but people are not aware of it, and also they are not getting any benefits because it's illegal, right? So in the Web2 side, current cybersecurity product solution delivery firms, like I don't want to say names to be honest, but lots of firms only use their own computing power. For example, from their data servers or their cloud platforms, it can be AWS, Microsoft, or Google, or Alibaba. So if they would like to deliver the tests from more than 100, more than 1,000 different locations, it will be very costly for them, right? Because they are also paying for these resources. So their solution cost will be also higher for clients. So it's not beneficial. With the DePIN infrastructure, we can onboard thousands, hundred thousands, millions of people from all around the world without any specific expectation. Because with that, anyone can participate via their individual computers without any expectation, any lower limits, even 20-year-old computer. With that way, we can deliver these attacks, deliver these tests via a much more cost efficient way. Also, with our proof of resources smart contract, maybe you have heard about some protocols try to explain themselves. We have, let's say, 100K participants. Eventually, people are figured out actually they don't have enough participants, which they're claiming. So with also our proof of resources smart contract, it's an on-chain contract. We are also releasing how much participants do we have, how much internet bandwidth, or how many participants we have all around the world. We can also present all this information via transparent way. So eventually, we can deliver much more cost-efficient tests, much more transparency between us, between our customer, between our participants. Anyone can ensure about our trust, and also customers get much more cost-efficient and with pay-as-you-go model service, much more lowly costs tests. So because every firm have to implement these tests every year, so we can reduce costs also. About the Web3 side, yeah, lots of firms started to track off-chain data side in these days, but it's just a brand new thing because last 5 years, 7 years, 6 years, however, their only focus is on smart contract vulnerability. But we also seen this. Lots of protocols has been hacked from their off-chain side, such as Mixin Network. It's been almost a half a year. They have been hacked from their cloud side, which cost them approximately $200 million in just couple hours, even couple minutes. Also, Ronin breaches hacked from also off-chain side. Everyone
Mm.
knows Ronin
I
breach.
remember the Ronin one. Yeah,
Yeah,
the Ronin one was big.
yeah, 620 million in just one day. And uh, as I observed, approximately 15-20% of all hacks in the Web3 is from off-chain sites, which is approximately costs 4.5 billion dollars. So as we security experts, we also put our efforts into off-chain side as well, because that is also covering all these aspects. It can be web server or cloud infrastructure or traditional server as well, because cybersecurity is 360-degree world. So you have to cover all of these angles. If you miss just one angle, hacker can manipulate your infrastructure and get and can take over all of your data, all of your on-chain, off-chain infrastructure as well. So we have to cover all of these infrastructures from different points.
That's really, really interesting. And I remember the Ronin one. That was, huge news at the time. how much money was hacked, and then there was some other ones that were smaller. But as these new layers come up, and these L1s, L2s, um, you know, they have to be tried and tested because there's more money flowing into them than before, right? It's more serious than it was before. So I completely agree with you. It's definitely a big problem. Now, what I'm interested in is sort of how practically DATS works in terms of sharing the computing power of. So you talked about like how the DePIN sort of helps cybersecurity, and provides a cheaper way of testing and things like that. But in terms of the other side of it, how does the compute power work? You said like a computer even 20 years old can partake in this, but like on a practical basis, how does it actually work?
Yeah, I would like to explain it, but to be honest, it will be a little bit technical to be understand. So I will get the point. Yeah, as I explained, there's a three different dimensions we are using in the DAS project currently. The first one is internet bandwidth. The second one is CPU, and the third one is RAM. To me, the current main focus is actually onboarding different IP addresses from all around the world, because the techniques which hackers implements based on IP addresses. For example, how many packages you send from one IP addresses to another, because uh, always companies put a limit. For example, from your IP address, if you send more than a 10 package in just couple seconds, they will block you entirely. So, with delivering much more efficient tests, you have to use more than, let's say, at least 10K different IP addresses, which means 10K participants. Because if it's become lower, you can be easily trackable and blockable from clients. But hackers doesn't get any block, right? Eventually they get blocked, but until then, they already hacked the infrastructure, because they are launching attacks from all across the world from thousands of different IP addresses. With that DePIN infrastructure, with thousands of different participants, we are also implementing same scenario and incentivizing participants. About to internet bandwidth sites, maybe you have seen a couple times some web servers are crashed. For example, in ICO platforms, if it's there enormous amount of participation exists, also the web server of this ICO platform collapsed. And also we have seen this scenario a couple times before. So it's called a DDoS attack. Uh, it's based on internet bandwidth, because if you send enough packages, enough big amount of packages into one web server, eventually it can use and understand all of these packages, right? Eventually, it will be collapsed. And the third one is RAM. So because all of the attacks not exist on web server sites, right? Also, we have to put network layer sites attacks. So with RAM, we are also putting some different penetration test scenarios. For example, it can be cloud-based penetration test or server-based penetration test, and so on. We are using RAM for only for penetration testing scenarios. Combining all of these three different approach and infrastructure, we can deliver 360-degree cybersecurity tests into our clients. But about the customer side, they have a freelance. It's a pay-as-you-go model. They just can pay what's their needs. For example, one client can only ask for DDoS tests, so they will only use internet bandwidth from our participants. Also, about the participation sites, our participants can choose what kind of resources they can dedicate into that project. For example, your internet bandwidth, let's say it's a 5 gigabits, right? So you are not using all of this internet bandwidth. but your physical resources, such as CPU RAM, is limited. So the unused infrastructural power is about your side is internet bandwidth. So when you are playing your game or surfacing on the internet, you can only dedicate your internet bandwidth into that project. With that way, you won't get any effect from our side. So meanwhile, we are not putting any limits about participation because the main thing is IP addresses. So any computer gets IP addresses or small amount of internet bandwidth. We are not asking for gigabits of traffic from one individual because also it's against the decentralization, right? We are only asking for small parts from everyone from our participants to create much more decentralized infrastructure, which is much more convenient for the blockchain approach. So we are actually embracing all of this approach via one platform.
That's very, very cool. And I'm assuming the individuals and the unused infrastructure, the owners get rewarded for giving up that infrastructure.
Exactly. For example, uh, I will just randomly say the numbers. Uh, you have dedicated your internet bandwidth to us, and with your internet bandwidth, we delivered DDoS tests to one of our clients. And we are also checking uh, are you truly participated to this test? So we are also trying to be much more efficient and honest with our participants. So if you truly dedicated your infrastructure while the tests, we are creating a pool from all the revenue which we get from this client, and we are giving away 60% of this revenue via all participants in the tests. So also people are incentivizing with our solutions with a generous amount, to be honest. And also our team has calculated what can be the revenue between in a year. So as we observed, if cybersecurity fields and blockchain fields goes as expected, people, participants can buy new computer between 12 or 16 months without any extra cost from only revenue from that project. With that way, they can also buy new computer and also dedicate this computer resources into that project. It's a win-win scenario for everyone. And also, I explained with nearly zero emission, we are also environment friendly because we are only recycling unused power into this field. So it's also a very good thing in my opinion.
Wow, that sounds absolutely amazing. And which devices do you guys use in terms of like in terms of infrastructure? Do people use like is it phones? Is it computers? Is like what sort of infrastructure do you guys allow users to use right now?
Currently, our desktop application for surely for computer side, but we are supporting Linux, Mac OS, or Windows infrastructures, all of them. In the Linux side also, or Debian, Ubuntu, Red Hat, it doesn't matter. We also released two different packages for two different Linux versions, and also Silicon chip and Intel chip for MacBook side. So we are trying to cover all of these operating systems. But also, meanwhile, we have different partners in the DePIN field. So we are also developing integrations with them. With these integrations, we are also, with their permission, we are also onboarding their users as well. So they will also get incentivized from the DAS project. With secondary sites like integrations, we are also integrating tablets or mobile phones as well. But to be honest, about to our current technology in these days, about the battery sites, if we release new mobile application directly for the cybersecurity tests, it will kill your phone. So we don't want to touch this that much. But with integrations, we are just sending small tasks. So surely the awards will be also lower comparing to computer. but reward is still rewards, right? So we also want to cover people.
And if it was to run on computers, it wouldn't make them run any slower. It won't impact any sort of performance at all, given that you guys are using unused capabilities.
Yeah, for sure. About this site, we are giving right to choose to participants. You can choose how much CPU, how much core CPU, how much RAM, or how much bandwidth you would like to dedicate into that. We are not choosing behalf of you. You can only choose how much resources you would like to dedicate. And also with our proof of resources smart contract, we are writing all this data about your participation. For example, you choose two CPU, 5 gigabytes of RAM. We are writing all this data, which services you allowed, and what kind of resources and how much of these resources. So you can also check all this information on chain, because there can be a misunderstanding or some configuration mistakes. And we are reading the data from on chain, so we are using it. With that way, there won't be any confusion, because we are only reading on chain data and giving a right to choose to our participants about their participation, about their resources. So it won't affect your infrastructure if you don't give us much more computing power. Yeah, to be honest, I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, so I'm dedicating 8 gigabits because I am currently using 16 between 20 and leaving 4 gigabytes as a gap. It can be some overusing exists. So everyone should try to understand how we are working and dedicate their infrastructure as their unused way, so they won't be getting affected.
That sounds amazing. That sounds really, really cool. I want to ask you in terms of DATS projects. So, like, where are you guys right now as a business, and where do you guys want to go in the future? Like, where's the longer term sort of roadmap?
Yeah, currently, as I explained, we started to this journey. It's been almost 3 years, and all our core infrastructures, our smart contracts. Also, we also have NFT sites, because we are delivering all of our reports to our customers as an NFT certificate. So all of these infrastructures are prepared. Also, our desktop application is running right now, because, as I explained, we have more than 500,000 participants all around the world. So we started to giving some POCs to our potential clients and customers. So about to product sites, everything is prepared already. Meanwhile, we integrated with Peak Network, because their focus is also DePIN, and they are also embracing real world outputs via RWA and DePIN infrastructure. So, which is a very good thing for us. We will be in live, in my opinion, in quarter 3, because also our community is growth enough, and we started to sell some POCs, and we will onboard different clients all around the world. Web2 companies also started to know us as a cybersecurity vendor. So currently we are at very good points. We are still integrating with different DePIN projects and making collaborations from different countries and so on. We will be live, as I explained, in quarter 3, in my opinion, after Singapore.
Sounds very cool. I want to ask you one last question before we start to wrap up the podcast, and that's how would have DATS prevented or impacted the Ronin hack?
Very good point. So there's a different cybersecurity products exist for different purposes, definitely. About the Ronin side, if I remember correctly, sorry about that, because it's been almost 3 years. So I'm
Yeah,
trying.
yeah, no, it's a while ago, but that's why you guys are important because you've got that infrastructure layer now, so it won't happen again, right? So that's why I wanted to ask the question.
So because they had a side chain, right, on Ethereum. So the side chain has 9 different validators. but the five of them has been compromised. So actually, the hacker, by the way, is Lazarus, Web2 based, well-known cybersecurity ransomware and attacking group. They are supporting North Korea. It's unneeded information, but I just wanted to say they are huge. About the Ronin side, the five validators has been compromised. For this kind of scenarios, there is a cybersecurity product exists, which is called cyber threat intelligence or extended threat intelligence, which tracks all of the data. It can be on-chain or off-chain, all informations about your protocol all over the internet. This threat intelligence service only seeks for information about your infrastructure. Also scan all of your open ports, internet services, all of the information which you can reach out from the internet. So if is there any leakage exists, this extended threat intelligence service can easily spot it via seconds and inform the customer. So with our extended threat intelligence service, we can inform the Ronin team maybe in 1 day or 1 hour, because until five of the validators has been hacked, they started from 1, 2, 3, right? So they will be informed maybe second validator while hacking. So they won't lose control of the sidechain. Eventually, their money wasn't being stolen.
And then how would have DATS like stop that from happening?
So with informing the Ronin team, your validators has started to be hacked. So protect their infrastructure and close, for example, remote code execution vulnerabilities or other injection vulnerabilities. We spotted these vulnerabilities on your validators. Close them as soon as possible, because you will be get hacked. We will inform them also about the advisory side. We are also experienced in cybersecurity remediation. So we can also close these vulnerabilities for them as a team. Eventually, we could prevent this hack. Also for mixing network side, also for multi-chain sites. Anyone can actually, any cybersecurity provider could prevent this kind of actions, but they only choose to audit smart contracts. So we are just raising our flags to this.
Over $600 million is insane. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anil, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. It's been such a pleasure. One question I want to ask you that we always ask on the podcast when we're about to wrap up is, what is your favorite use case of DePIN outside of what you guys are immediately working on?
Thank you. Thank you, Sina, for inviting me. It's such a pleasure to be here. So about your question, in my opinion, beyond the protocols, for example, couple partners of ours doing some automotive side. Also, we are doing cybersecurity thing. But the main thing about the decentralized infrastructure network to recycling unused computing power resources, because this world has limited resources. So how we can put much more sustainability, how we can implement sustainability into our lives via recycling unused resources, such as computing power resources. So the DePIN is very important and very convenient for all of us. Meanwhile, recycling these unused computing power resources with different products, with different services, also rewarding the community, embracing the community, and providing real world outputs with real world benefits is a wonderful thing. So, beyond the categories, cybersecurity, agriculture, it can be anything. If you are providing any benefits to real world, and meanwhile, if you also incentivizing people, community, anyone, it's a very precious thing. So without the boundaries, DePIN is a very good hype, in my opinion, because we see in NFT, DeFi, everything. But DePIN is a different thing because it's a real world via unused computing power resources to putting much more sustainability is a wonderful thing. So I hope that's an answer. That's enough answer for you
So
because
basically, any use case that recycles that unused computing power. So it could be sort of giving up for AI compute, or it could be
yes,
decentralized storage. It could be anything like that.
anything,
Um,
anything.
yeah.
Because AI also can help agriculture or decentralized storage can help cybersecurity. We can help each other. The main thing is let's recycle, let's create much more sustainable world together. And we can also develop technologies beside of that. And we can integrate with each other. So we can increase also awareness and maturity. But the first step is creating much more sustainability into this world.
Yeah, no, I love that message. I know, again, thank you so much for joining me. One last question. How can people stay in touch with you and DATS project going forward?
Yeah, for sure. When you type into Google or any search engine into as a DAS project, you can easily reach out any of our websites, Twitter or GitHub repositories. You can reach any data about us. About the Twitter site, my nickname is Nigrum Ardeas. It's Latin, meaning of Blackburn. It was a very chess player's name in 19th centuries. So you can also reach out to me via DM. It's about your any question or any help. I am here for 7 to info. And again, thank you for inviting me. It's such a pleasure meeting with you online. I hope we can do it in Singapore as a in person as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Very exciting stuff. Thank you so much, Anil, for coming on again. And yeah, I'm sure we'll chat very soon. Thank you. Thank you for listening to today's discussion, brought to you by Minima, the real-world blockchain. The only layer 1 blockchain lean and compact enough to run in full on any mobile or IoT device. If you're new to DePIN, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter to stay up to date. Thank you so much again. We'll catch you in the next episode.